Right.
Yes.
Are you ready to explain what we did in maths today?
We did measurement and geometry.
Okay, so we started to look at what different types of lines we've got. Can you explain the difference between horizontal lines and vertical lines?
Horizontal lines are this one, and vertical lines are like up and down.
So horizontal lines go across,
Yes.
and vertical lines go up and down. And there are other types of lines we've learned as well. Can you tell me what perpendicular lines are?
Perpendicular lines are like this one.
So what happens when perpendicular lines come together?
It's like stretch line and then it goes
They make what sort of angle do we call it?
perpendicular.
What do we call this angle? Can you remember the name of it?
Rectangle.
It's a right angle. Yeah?
Right angle.
Right angle. And what do we call the lines that never meet? They run along each other. They're called parallel. Good. So we looked at parallel lines and perpendicular lines.
Yeah.
Give me an example on the page of parallel lines.
Yeah, the same. They're going to go both, but because this is this one, the horizontal, the vertical line goes, that they are parallel because they go the same.
So the two vertical lines here are what? What's the name? Parallel.
Parallel.
So they don't meet each other, but they go along the same direction. Yeah. Good. Right. We also looked a little bit at area and perimeter. Tell me a little bit about perimeter. What did we do with perimeter?
Perimeter.
How did we get 22 meters, for instance? What did we do?
We done this. We done 3 and 3, 6, 8 and 8 means 16.
And then?
So then we plus all that and 22 meters. And then there was the perimeter. The area was 3. The age 10 tables was 24.
Right, so
And
you're
then
at 24.
24 meters.
So you're at 24 meters, and then what did you have to make sure you were at the after? 24 meters squared. Squared, and it's normally written with a 2, a small 2, to show that you use an area.
This week we talk about the legends. The best with 1,000 teeth and St. George.
Okay, so what did you think about the Beast of the 1,000 Teeth? How is it different from the St. George story?
Sam was a little boy and a kid. George was a man and an adult. Sam didn't kill the dragon, the beast, and George killed the dragon. Sam made friends with the beast, and George didn't make friends. Sam is smart and gets the old bags, and George is not strong. He's strong and is not smart.
Okay, so there was a lot of differences with the stories, but they were both legends.
Yeah.
What was something that was very much the same about both stories? What did both stories have that was the same?
That they had a dragon or a beast.
Yeah, so they had some kind of monster in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Then we did something that showed what you thought of the hero in it. We looked at a film, didn't we?
Yeah.
A short film.
The short film.
And it was called, can you remember the name?
The Slayer.
The Dragon Slayer.
The Dragon Slayer.
And we decided about the character. So we decided to describe the character from the film The Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
And what did you put as the words that closely described him?
Ugly, smelly, brave, and knight.
And he's a knight, he's brave, yeah?
Yeah.
What was the words that least described him that you decided were not the words that best described him when you watched the film?
Patiently, naughty, silly, beautiful, kind, best, shining, horn.
Okay. Then we watched. So then today we watched the second part of The Dragon Slayer, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we watched the end part of the film, and so you got to see a different side to the Dragon Slayer. So where did you end up putting the words? What did you choose then as the best words to describe him?
Kind, beautiful, good, nice, brave, best.
And what words least described him then?
Knight.
Okay, so he was
Knight.
no longer a knight. He became something different, didn't he? Why did he become something different? Why did you change your mind about him in the story?
Because he killed the dragon, and it was a mother that had three babies, and the host didn't want it to go because he killed the mother, and the babies they didn't have mother, and he wanted that the killing one that keep the three babies.
Okay, so he became a carer. He became like the mother to the little dragons. So suddenly he became a horrible, fierce knight, a brave, fierce knight, to becoming a kind, motherly, looking after little dragons, caring. Yeah? So a completely different character. So we quickly judged him as something that he wasn't, because he was something kinder after all of that. He wasn't such a brave, strong knight. Okay, then with these words and with these ideas, you then did what towards the end of the lesson? What did you do?
The fiction story.
So you wrote a story based on the film that you saw, yeah? And what do you think you need to build on as a writer? What is it you think you need to work towards to make your story stronger? Add some description so that you can, what does the description help the reader to do?
To write more.
Right, so not to write more, to think more about where the characters are, yeah? So we have a setting, we know what's in the setting. Imagine if we're there, it will help us, wouldn't it? But you kind of given the outline of the story. You made it clear what was going on in the story. You moved the story on well, but you need to just put some description in to add some interesting words for the reader to read, okay? Very good.
Today we done the area and perimeter.
Okay, could you tell me what the difference is between perimeter and area? What did you have to learn about them?
Area is the inside, and the perimeter is all the outside.
So perimeter is the edge, you're measuring the edge of the shape. And area is basically measuring inside the shape. Yeah, very good. So, how did you measure the perimeter? Show me an example of what you did.
You have to do like the first one. The perimeter is you do. If this is 3 centimeters and this is 5, this 2 of these 3 times 2 times 3 will be 3. And 5 times 3 is 10. So you add 6 and 10, it will be 16. So the perimeter is 16.
Good.
And to make the area, you have to times 5 times 3, that will be 15.
Good. So you found that you found the perimeter in the area. What do you have to make sure of though when you write the answer?
You have to put centimeter and the centimeters
squares.
And in the square, in the area, you have to put a square in the end.
Very good. Why do you think you have to do that? Do you remember my saying why?
Because it is area, not perimeter.
Because every time you times a square by itself, if you square a number, you put a square to show that you've timesed it by itself, yeah? We were just talking about how you would measure a shape that is quite difficult to measure using centimeter squares. And we just
count. If it is more than half square, you count it. And if it is not more than half square, you don't count it.
Okay, so let's say this square, is that more than half?
No.
I think it is. Look carefully. That one.
This one, yeah.
That one, yes. That one, no. Exactly. So moving on, then we watched a short film called The Dragon Slayer, and we watched the first half. You decided what the character was like. What did you put as the best words to describe him?
He was brave, ugly, a knight, smelly and strong.
Okay, what were the words that you decided were not as strong to describe him?
Handsome, beautiful, kind, shiny, patient.
Okay, so then we watched the second part of the film the next day, and you learnt something different about the knight, didn't you? Mm-hmm. So what did you do for the knight the second time?
The second time?
You did the same target board, but what did you do with the words?
put in the middle. Sleepy, boring, smelly, friendly, short, and tired.
Okay, and what did you do with the words like kind? Did you put that near the middle as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you changed the order of the words slightly, didn't you? Because the video helped you learn, the short film helped you learn. The short film helped you learn that the night could change. He was no longer a knight at the end of the story, was he? And then after you did that... Sergi. Okay, Sergi. Soon. Right. So then, after you finished doing the description, you put your ideas together to make the story linked to the video, didn't you? I'd love you to read a little bit of what you did, because your description is coming out strong. Just maybe the first page, and then you could give us a sample.
I had a long journey from Egypt to a very small village with tiny streets and smelly paths. Everybody had gone away. There were only a few people left. Everything was broken, and it was a very poor village with people standing in a dark, dusty place near the house asking for money. That made me feel sad. Soon it started to get darker. I got scared. It was very cold, but I was brave to see what was going on. So I looked up to the sky, and you know what I saw? I saw it was starting to rain. So I decided to stop to the nearest house and ask what was going on in that village. I saw a dad and a son. The son asked to the dad, when was everything going to be back to normal? The dad just nodded sadly and said, crying, never. Then I arrived and asked what was going on, and they told me the story of the dragon.
It's very, very detailed. I think you did a very, very fantastic job of describing what was going on in the film. Well done, Judith. Today
we done the area and perimeter.
So what's the first thing that you did with area and perimeter?
They calculate the area of the leaves.
And what did you have to do for this? Can you show me?
I had to count the squares.
Okay, so show me for the first one what you did.
Just to count the squares, if they were more than half. So this one, you cannot count it. This one, yes. So you count all the squares and then write them and put cemeteries and squares.
So what could you also count? You can count whole squares, but what could you also count?
The halves.
The halves, or if there were more than half. Yes? So if, for instance, you had this one, that one there, could you count that?
Yes.
And what about this one?
Yes.
What about this one?
No.
No. So it's only the ones that were half or more you could count as one whole square. Okay? So we did that. And we're still learning how to write squared to show area. And then what did we go on to do?
The perimeter and area of the shape.
Okay. Do you remember what we called these shapes?
Square.
Well, when you have two rectangles joined together, we call those compound shapes.
Yeah, compound.
Okay, because it means that we've joined them together.
Yes.
And so you have to find, they're a little bit trickier to find the area of, but all you have to think about is there are two tricks to find the area. Do you remember the two tricks that you've learnt?
Yeah. The first one is you have to imagine this is a full square.
Yeah.
And you calculate it, and then you take away the squares that are here.
Yeah, so you take away that rectangle that's there. But the other way of doing it, can you remember?
Yeah, is you have to do...
To help you out, you split the rectangles up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got two rectangles here. We've got, this one has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares across and 3 squares down. So it's 6 times 3 is...
What?
6 times 3 is?
18.
18. And then this one has got 3 squares across and 5 squares down. And what was that one?
15.
15. So 15 add 18?
It's 32.
33. So you'd add them two together to get the answer.
Yeah.
So you did that way as well. So you learned both methods because we said that both you need to know in order to be equipped for understanding area. And we also did this page. What did you learn with compound shapes on this page?
How to make the shapes.
And what did you recognize with some of the shapes?
They were. I have to find the missing number.
Right, so you had to find a missing length.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had to find some of the numbers, some of the lengths were missing, so you had to put them in place in order to calculate how much perimeter you had and how much area you had.
Yeah.
Did you find that easy to do?
No.
Found it a little bit challenging, but you're getting the perimeter right. This area is the one thing that we need to work on with our compound shapes, okay? But we're getting there, making a lot of progress. Well done. You did in maths today for Minter Maths.
We done a math test too.
Okay, so it says here 1 divided by 10. Can you give me the answer for that?
It's 0.1.
Okay, how did you get 0.1?
You had to make a timeline.
Right, so a number line helped, and you split 1 up into 10 bits, and a tenth of those bits is what? 0.1.
1.
Exactly. And you rounded off 86 to the nearest 10. What was 86 rounded off to the nearest 10?
It was 10.
No, 86 rounded to the nearest 10.
90.
Exactly. So you're getting much stronger with the mathematical language.
This week we done the test math, the test 7.
Okay, so what did you learn from doing test 7?
We learned to do the round, well, everything. Shwana, you didn't notice on that,
Right,
okay?
so for instance, look at this one. What did you learn about this one? So you made a small mistake, but what did you remember after we went
It
through
was 7 times 5, 34, 35, put down 5 times 0 is 0, so the answer is 0.
Right, so anything you times by 0, it should be 0.
Yes.
Anything. Alright, and then we just had to realise you had to calculate properly because you nearly got the right answer.
Sure.
Now, so round off 102 to its nearest 10.
It's 100.
Okay, how do you know it's 100?
Because because the nearest 10 is 100. Because you take it's more less than 2.
Okay, if it's less than 5, you
Plus. You go up.
You round it.
It's up. Down.
If it's less than 5, you round it.
Down.
If it's 5 or more, you round it.
Up.
Okay, please remember.